Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Season of 2019, and what does that mean? It's time to start making off-season videos. All right, so hey, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Shaka Antoine. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about driving on the beach. There's about 6 things that you would need to know before you attempt to drive on the beach, and I just want to discuss those things with you at this time. Okay, there's nothing like driving on the beach. You know, you're trying to get to your favorite fishing spot. You got all your gear loaded up in your buggy. Your rods are strapped on the roof or in your rack, and you're ready to go. Once you get there, man, there's nothing like searching for fish on the beach in your buggy. All right, but there's, like I said, there are 6 things that you need to know before attempting to drive on the beach. Okay, so let's go up. Let's start talking about number 1. The first thing is the vehicle must have either 4x4, 4-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, and it must be a CUV or an SUV. No cars, okay? None of them Subarus or them Audis or whatever car that has all-wheel drive. Not suitable for the beach. All right. If the vehicle that you have has a sand mode, then that is definitely a major plus for using that vehicle to drive on the beach. So pick your vehicle carefully. You know, if you have one already and you plan on using it to drive on the beach, just check to see, do a little research into the type of all-wheel drive system that it has before driving on the beach. Don't drive on the beach to test it out. Know what you have first before you attempt to drive it on the beach. Nobody wants to see the post about your vehicle on the beach stuck needing a tow. Okay? Alright, now the second item I'm going to talk to you about is just going to dive a little bit into some of the vehicles that I have driven that has a decent all-wheel drive system. Well, of course, my CRV that unfortunately was totaled. I don't know if you saw it in my last video. A guy T-boned me, totaling my vehicle. So I no longer have that at the moment. But I just want to talk to you a little bit about the all-wheel drive system that it had. Okay, Honda called it the real-time all-wheel drive. So yes, it was an all-wheel drive system, and that system was the closest you can get to a true 4x4 system. What I mean by that is that it was not front-wheel drive or front-wheel drive biased until all-wheel drive was needed. It actually had power to all-wheel drive to all the 4 wheels constantly. And what the computer did, that whenever conditions warranted 2-wheel drive, the computer would cut in and make it 2-wheel drive. Otherwise, it was all-wheel drive at all times. So that was a very good system. Thank you, Honda. And I definitely enjoyed some good times on the beach with that real-time all-wheel drive. Okay, the next vehicle that I had throughout at some point in the fall was Honda's HR-V. That is a all-wheel drive system. It was very good in weather conditions. I have no complaints with that. However, I noted that it probably would not be suitable to drive on the beach or any type of rugged or off-road situation. The reason why I say that is because a lot of the components on the undercarriage were exposed. The diff was exposed. I could see that, it was, now we're not hanging low, but, God forbid if I was to be dragging on the beach, or if some sort of debris on the beach were to hit it, I didn't want to take the risk and putting that off road. The CRV that I had, if you looked on its undercarriage, everything was flat, everything was nicely tucked in. The diff was tucked away in its own little carriage, or cradle they call it, and there was nothing exposed to get hit. God forbid if which I did several times, ran over rocks, sticks, and whatever else you can find on the beach. However, there was nothing for it to hit and get damaged. Versus that Honda HRV, I would not suggest it. All right, now also had the opportunity of driving the Hyundai Tucson all-wheel drive. Love that transmission, man. A dual clutch transmission is just a whole lot of fun, especially in sport mode. Now it did have a this mode in it where you can press a button and it will lock the differential. Very good. That's a very good thing. If you do have an all-wheel drive car where you can actually lock all four wheels, then that has great potential for off-road driving. I just, I didn't bother doing it. It was a rental, so I didn't want to take the risk. Plus, I didn't have any permits. All right. Now, I also had the opportunity of renting two Ford Explorer, the 2018 Ford Explorer. I had the limited trim level. However, the first one I had, for some ungodforeseen reason, was front wheel drive. Can you believe it? An SUV of that size only being front wheel drive. I don't know where, other than Florida, because that's where it was registered. Florida doesn't see the type of weather that we see here in New York City. So I guess, that would warrant only needing front wheel drive. But here, the Northeast, New York City, we need all-wheel drive. The Explorer that I'm currently in, until I get my next vehicle, now that one, of course, is a limited trim, but it has all-wheel drive. And it comes with a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, loads of power. Now this vehicle is equipped with a sand mode. And I did have the opportunity of just observing and actually recording what it does when it's in that mode. And this is the off season, so I can't get on the beach, but I did note what it does, and it's very interesting. Ford has their all-wheel drive system is called Intelligent Four-Wheel Drive, and what it does, it has a nice little display, which I'll show you, where it shows you when and which wheels are getting power. So it has a nice little display. In sand mode, what it is that all the power is going to all four wheels, and it actually does not cut power to any of the wheels. It doesn't modulate it, and it also changes the shift points. It doesn't change gears as soon as it would normally do, like versus in normal mode. All right, and that's pretty good. It also turns off traction control. That's a major issue I used to have when I was on the beach with my CRV. The traction control would kick in, and that thing sound horrendous when it was kicking in. It sounded like something was breaking, but I later figured out that was the computer cutting in and breaking up the traction, kicking in traction, activating traction control. All right, so that's in sand mode. The Explorer does have those features, which is very, very good. I'm pretty sure that's a very well capable and suitable beach buggy. All right, now when it's in normal mode, it does something very intelligent. I guess this is why they called it intelligent four-wheel drive. What it does is this. Yes, it starts out with power going to all four wheels, but then as you build up speed, I guess the computer begins to cut power to the rear wheels, and it becomes primarily front-wheel drive bias. It's very efficient, very intelligent. There's no need to have all the four wheels spinning at all times getting power. wasting a lot of gas. All right, so that's something to consider when if you're looking for a beach buggy. If it has, regardless of what type of four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive system it has, if you see that it has a sand mode, then you should have no issues um, on the beach, of course, provided that it doesn't have anything exposed to get damaged. All right, moving along to the next item here, which is very, very, very important, which would be proper tires. I can't say enough about having proper tires to drive on the beach. For a couple of seasons, as a matter of fact, um, I used the tires that came with my CRV, and hey, I did all right. There was a lot of slipping inside of the ruts, but as far as having traction, I aired down. So I did, traction wasn't necessarily an issue, but I could clearly feel the car slipping and having a lot of trouble getting out of ruts. Getting inside the ruts wasn't a problem, but if I needed to climb and change over to another track, another rut, yeah, that was a little challenging with the stock tires. Now, when I finally decided to upgrade to some all-terrain tires, I went ahead and purchased Pirelli Scorpion ATRs. Night and day difference, both on the beach, during weather conditions in the wet, and especially on the highways. Loads of grip. I was amazed at how much grip those tires had, yet they were all-terrain tires. And when I finally wore those tires out, I was looking to purchase the same exact tires. However, Pirelli had discontinued the Scorpion ATRs, and the successor to those were the Pirelli Scorpion All-Terrain Plus. Beastly tires, okay, both in how they look. I love the design of the tread on both the tire and on the sidewall. It has a very aggressive tread pattern on the sidewall that both looked good and performed well. All right, now when I was in the ruts, the difference, I could feel the tires working a lot differently. The all-wheel drive system wasn't struggling for traction. I was even able to make my own ruts without the car feeling like it's sluggish, or I could feel the all-wheel drive system working. Beastly tires, man. Beastly tires. Even on wet and snow and wet, driving in the wet, and also on the highway, as much um, as aggressive as that tread pattern was, I was expecting a little less traction on the wet. I mean, on the dry pavement. However, not at all. Road noise got to increase a little bit. I expected that, especially with such an aggressive uh, tread pattern. But again, it was a purchase well worth it. All right. So when I would suggest that if you're going to get some purpose-built tires, consider all-terrain tires. Very important. You will not regret that. All right. Now let's talk about tools. Uh, Required tools on the beach. Depending upon what beach you're on, most beaches have their own sort of rules for access as far as what requirements you have to have. But some of them that are in general use for whichever beach you will be driving on. The most important one is to have a shovel. God forbid if you get into a situation where you're stuck, you definitely are going to need a shovel to dig yourself out. Okay, you also want to make sure that you have a tow rope or tow chain, just in case you want to help someone else out that's stuck. You want to tow them, or help get them out, or if you might need to be towed um, off the beach or out of a situation. Very important to have your own tow rope or tow chain. Right? You also want to have 2 tire pressure gauges. All right, and I say 2 because sometimes what you'll find is that one will be completely inaccurate and the other one might be. I use a digital one, a digital handheld. I find that to be the most accurate. All right, my vehicle didn't have a digital readout. Some vehicles do on the dashboard, but I found that my digital handheld version was very accurate. All right. Now, some beaches may require you to have a portable toilet. I can't tell you how many times that was a day saver. It saved the day having a portable toilet. Just think about it. You're out on the beach. Most times you're a mile away from anything. And hey, when nature calls, it calls, man. And it's always good to have a portable toilet with you. And also trash bags. All right. We have to keep these beaches clean, guys. Take your trash with you. Pick up some trash if you see that there's trash on the beach. All right. And you also want to have a jack and wood planks just in case you needed to change a tire on the beach. You can have you lay down some wood, put the jack on it, and you have a stable ground to get to jack up your vehicle. All right. And next is an air hose for when you are airing back up. Some beaches have an air station, but there are some beaches that do not have an air station. So what you have to do is carry your own hose. Or some beaches actually have an air station, but they don't have a hose, so you have to use your own. Okay. And another tool that's not a requirement, but it's also more of a convenience, are it's called they call it air tire deflator. And what it is just something that you can screw onto the valve stems to let out the air quickly. Some of them that it has a mechanism where you can set the tire pressure that you want your tires to be set at. What it is, you just screw it on, and once it reaches that pressure, it stops letting air out. Some of them have it, some of them do not. All right, now the next subject that I'll discuss here is airing down. It is very important to air down. And the recommended pressure would be to air down to about half the tire pressure that you drive on. So if you drive on 40, air down to 20. All right, now sadly, 85% of beachgoers or people driving on the beach don't air down. But I typically find that these are the people that have these big 4x4 Tonka style trucks with these huge tires, and they just have no regard for airing down because their vehicles are better equipped or just that much capable on the beach. But I still feel you should still air down. You'll have better traction. You won't have to be gunning it and doing all kind of foolishness. Air down. Okay. Now I air down between 15 and 20 psi on soft sand or sketchy beaches, sketchy 4x4 axis beaches. But I will actually go down to 25 on hard sand. You can get away with that when it's compact sand. All right. Now the last rules, we're going to go over some rules here. 10 miles per hour is the speed limit on almost every beach that I know of. All right. Try your best to not go over. I've been guilty of going over 10 miles per hour. That's typically when I know that there's absolutely no one on the beach. It's late at night, but 10 miles per hour is the speed limit. Also, you want to stay in the ruts. If you don't know what ruts are on the beach, that's the grooves in the sand where other trucks have gone that leave that nice little 2-lane looking thing. Those are called ruts, where the tires have cut grooves into the beach. Those are ruts. Stay within those. It's less wear on your vehicle, less wear on your all-wheel drive system and your transmission. It's a lot easier. In fact, you don't even, as long as the ruts are straight or they're going in one direction or the direction that you are going in, you don't even have to hold the wheel. The grooves, the ruts will actually steer the vehicle. But the thing is that, if the ruts turn, and you want to be holding on to the wheel in that situation. But again, if it's straight, you don't really have to. All right. Avoid running over debris on the beach. Trust me, man. You don't want to be running over too many rocks. You don't want to be running over sticks. Look out for wood laid down by others that got stuck. For some ungodforeseen reason, sometimes these people, they leave the wood that they use to get out of a situation, a rough situation. They leave it there. So you have to be paying attention to what you're running over. Several times, man, I've had to avoid logs, just like stuff on the beach that's been left behind or washed up. Very important. Do not drive in the wash. It's very important. That is how you get stuck. That soft, wet stuff, when a wave comes in and, you know, um, goes back out, that stuff, stay away from. I'm sure you've seen the posts of vehicles in the water because they decided to drive through the wash. Don't drive through the wash. Don't be a hero, okay? That's a very expensive tow bill. All right, now when you're driving on the beach, look out for children and other beachgoers. All right, these people that camp out on the beach, the quickest way to get them upset is driving more than 10 miles per hour and also coming close to them. All right, you don't want to be hitting no one's kid or hitting anyone on the beach. So be safe. Drive below the speed limit and just keep your eye out for other beachgoers. All right, and the last area that I want to talk to you about is, let's say, you've unfortunately gotten yourself stuck. What are you going to do? What's the proper way to dig yourself out? Now, I have gotten stuck on the beach. I'm not no beach hero. My CRV is not perfect. I discovered its limits by actually getting stuck. All right, but fortunately, other than I think there was twice, I could not get out under my own power. But in the event that you get stuck on the beach, okay, now just before you got stuck, you should have stopped. All right, let me just say that, okay, because as soon as you have lost momentum, don't be trying to gas yourself out of the situation. You've lost momentum because you're stuck. All right, so by you gassing, you're just sinking, making the hole around your tires and actually beaching yourself on the beach. Your chassis the sand will come right up to the chassis by you gassing it. All right, so what you want to do is this: you want to dig with the shovel because you decided to do the right thing and have the proper equipment. With your shovel, dig around your tires first. Dig out the front, right? And then along your chassis, because most likely if you're stuck, it's because your chassis is laying in the sand. So you want to dig the sand away from your chassis. You want to dig it away from the rear of your vehicle, because once you dig clear all the sand from, you're not going to clear all the sand from underneath, but once you cleared out the sand from your chassis and away from your wheels and away from the front and the rear, what you're going to do is back out. You're not going to drive forward out. The easiest way to get out of a situation, once you've already dug yourself, dug all the sand out and you actually have some traction there, is to back out. Now, one of the reasons why you're required to have wood is you can stuff the wood under your tires so that the tires have a better surface other than sand to get yourself out. All right, that's basically it. These are the things I wanted to discuss with you about driving on the beach and some of the requirements and the do's and the don'ts. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have, please remember to like my videos, share them. You can comment if you have something you would like to add or question. I'm open for any of your suggestions. Please remember to subscribe, and also have a great day. God bless.